Hello, this is John from caveofprogramming.com. In this tutorial in C++ for Complete Beginners, we're going to take a look at getting input from the user. So we've already seen that you can declare a string variable like this. We can say string text equals hello, semicolon, and we can output that text by saying cout and text and endler for a new line and to flush the buffer. So if we run this now, we get hello. You can also get input from the user, which of course is really useful, although we don't know enough C++ syntax yet to really do much with input from the user. But let's see how you'd actually do it. So this cout is, we call it an object, and it's a special object for outputting text. And this is called the insertion operator. These two chevrons, they're actually performing an operation like a plus sign is also an operator, or equals, I suppose, is an operator. And they're inserting data into this cout object. You can think of it like that. So it's the insertion operator, and that object is then displaying stuff down here on the console. To actually get text from the user, we can use something called cin and the extraction operator. So it's sounding very technical, but the important thing is just try out what I'm about to show you and you'll get the hang of it. So let's output some text for a start. Let's say here, enter your name, for example. We'll put a semicolon and a space there inside the string, and then let's put the insertion operator and flush, because I don't want there to be a new line at the end of this, and we'll see how this works in a minute. Then, well, let's get rid of this stuff, and I'm going to get the user input into an empty string. So I need to declare an empty string to get the user input into that string. So if I type string, let's call it input, and then a semicolon. So I'm declaring a string here. This is a string variable. It's a kind of object for holding user input. Never mind about what an object is exactly, but that's what it is. And we're not giving it a value. We're not saying equals such and such. This is called declaring it. We're just saying what the type of this variable is. It's a string. And now we can type cin, and instead of left pointing chevrons, we type two right pointing, like diamond brackets, chevrons, whatever you like to call them. And this is called the extraction operator. It's as if we're extracting information from this cin object, which represents the user input on the console. I'm firing a lot of lingo at you, but don't worry about that. So what we can do now is put the string here where we want to put the user input. So we've got our string, we've created our string, and now we're using cin to get user input. So let's see how that works. And actually, before I run it, let's use cout. Let's say cout, and then a string you entered, colon, and then another insertion operator, and input, and that's the string that the user is going to enter, and then we'll have a new line character, because that'll look nice at the end of it. So we'll run this, let's run it, and it says down here on the console, enter your name. I'm going to click in the console, enter my name, hit return, and it says you entered John. So we're getting the input here at this line in this string. When the user hits return, that input is kind of sent into this string. You can think of this extraction operator as kind of sending stuff into this string, extracting it from the user input. And then we're writing out on the console, printing in the lingo we say, printing on the console what the user has actually entered down here. So that is this. This is going to seem quite complicated when you first see it just now, but you practice it a few times yourself and you will see how it works. It's really not so bad when you've done it a few times. It's just you need practice, of course. Let's try it with an integer as well, because we can also do this with integers. Let's say int value, and I won't give it a value. I'm just declaring a variable of type integer here that could hold an integer number. And then let's say here cin and the extraction operator and value. So we're expecting an integer value here. And let's type above that cout. I'll get rid of this blank line up here. So I'm trying to keep this program somehow in logical blocks. So we can have two blocks of stuff here, one for the string, one for the integer. Let's say cout, wrong one, there we go, cout, you entered, and value.